Hello, beautiful ladies. Karen McCoy here, and welcome to Over 40 Fit and Lean Lifestyle Podcast. All right, today we are going to talk refeeds. What is it? How do you apply it, and will it work? Okay, let's get started. Okie dokie, what is a refeed? So we know what cheats are. We talked about cheats in one podcast. So refeeds are actually different than cheats. Unfortunately, what's happening is people are using them interchangeably, and they're also not aware of the difference between them. As a coach, there's very much a difference. So when I was in competition for years, the refeed was a very specific tool that you use in order to keep your metabolism stoked, because in competition, you're training, and you're cutting down your food. So it's kind of like going against normal living, right? It's very extreme. So the refeed is based on your biofeedback. So it's really important that you do this with a coach. Otherwise, what you're doing is just a cheat meal, and that's okay too. You can call it a refeed, but really a refeed is where you're training. It has to be with weight training. So we don't really, in the real world, apply it to somebody who's doing cardio based or that kind of endurance sports and activities, because it is about training the body with weights until the glycogen, which is glucose, which is in the body and in the cells, starts to peter out. And you do that with weight training, with repetition in the sets and reps, right? And so you are below maintenance, right? Because a refeed is put in when you're going through a weight loss phase. So when you're starting to lose, it depends on the person. It depends on their biochemistry. It depends on their size as well. Smaller women, we don't get to hold as much in our body. So we might actually need more refeeds than a larger person, right? Because the organs and the muscle hold in the glycogen. And when you're bigger, you get to hold in more. And so for me, when I was in show, I would do 2 refeeds a week, but it was not timed on the day. It was timed on my body biochemistry. And I do this with women who have a very diligent and committed mindset, guys, because unless you have a good relationship with food, and unless you're diligent with the weight training and the food plan where you're below maintenance, it's not going to work. So what happens in a refeed is that you're training. You're slowly pulling the glycogen out of the muscle. And we call it, when you look in the mirror, you have a flat appearance. So where your muscles are normally nice and rounded, you might notice you can't get the pump, right? You're flat. And so we can't always see that when we're in a calorie deficit, especially when we're training. So a coach on the outside can see that. But also we look at digestion, we look at hydration, we look at assimilation and bowel movements, all that kind of stuff. That allows us to recognize when to put a refeed in. And then as you stay diligent with your training and your food, then we can put it in on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. But really what happens is leptin and ghrelin, which, as you probably know, are the hormones that are responsible for satiety and hunger. So as we lose body fat, the leptin comes down, and then it signals, oh my gosh, we can't lose any more body fat, right? So the refeed allows us to refuel the leptin, where it goes, oh, it's good, it's okay, I've got food, we can drop the weight again. So it's like right before you head into a possible plateau, where your body is just at a place where it might just totally plateau. Your training starts to suffer as well, and you get it at that spot. And then you refuel with a regular meal. You don't go crazy. You don't have a whole pizza, and you don't worry about the macros, but you have your protein, carbs, and fats, and you don't measure them. You don't do any of that mind stuff, but you make sure it's a real meal. Okay. I had one lady who did a refeed, and she was up like 4 pounds, which really isn't, it's not scale weight. It's just because she ate the whole pizza. So we had to have a talk. So when I used to do my refeeds, I chose my burger with bun. Yes. Okay. It's not a time to pull back, guys. Burger with bun, all the fixings on it, a salad, because I found if I ate fries, or I don't eat onion rings anyways, but any fried stuff, it was too much, because you're in a calorie deficit and you're really diligent, right? So this is for people that are beyond normal and heading into a little bit more serious training and weight loss. And so, and I would have my wine, and I would have my chocolate cake, my piece of chocolate cake. And that is where people would look at me in the restaurant, and here I am like shrinking down to all of 110 pounds. And they're like, how do you get to eat like that? Right? I don't get to eat like that all the time. But that was where a lot of mainstream took a look at what we were doing as competitors and went, oh, cool, that's really cool. Well, we're going to use this and call it a refeed and throw that in to all of this marketing to say, yes, you can lose weight when you can eat like this, right? But it has been kind of bastardized a little bit and glorified. It's tougher work. It's tougher work than a cheat meal. So the refeed is where your body just kind of goes ooh, through training and calorie deficit. And then you're at a place where everything is just about to say, no more, I'm not going to let go of any more body fat. You throw in the refeed, again, getting a copy of all the biofeedback that's happening. And then all of a sudden, woo, the leptin is filled up and the body goes, oh, good, I've got food. It's okay. It's safe. It's safe, boys. We could drop the excess pounds again. It goes back onto weight loss. So we use it when women stall out, if they're in a competition, of course, but also if they're in a pretty stringent and committed weight loss journey. And then we can apply it. And what happens is you'll eat and you'll see the scale go up a pound or two. It doesn't matter. It's not body fat. It's usually water weight. And I usually say, don't weigh yourself for about 2 or 3 days. It takes 48 to 72 hours for the body to get back to the normal weight. And you'll see, oh, boom, it's dropping again, and again. So that's how we do it. That's the beauty of a refeed. It's technical, but done properly with proper coaching is actually a really cool way to live. And I often go into a refeed piece of my healthy living program in the spring, because then what happens is I can lean down nice and easy for summer, but I am diligent and committed around the food and around the training, right? And so you have to have that as well. And if all that's in place, it's a pretty cool way to live long term, actually. And it really is. It's a nice life. It's a nice lifestyle for sure. And yeah, check it out. If you want more information, go to warriorwomanfitness.com. You'll find tons of info there, and you can drop me a line or book a call. All right, chat soon. Bye-bye.